Welcome to the Nate KG podcast, a show dedicated to exploring the nuances of jump rope, where I talk with jumpers of all skill levels, backgrounds, and fitness goals. On this episode, I speak with Sharina Isabel. I've watched Sharina's progress for quite a while now and have been very impressed by her strength as a jumper. This is the first conversation we've had, and we really dug into all points of her journey, really focusing on how to build confidence. If confidence has been a journey for you, you'll really dig Sharina's insights and perspective. We also chat about jumping solo versus with others, the similarities between architecture and jump rope, feeling nervous when going to a gym for the first time, and a lot more. All the show notes for this episode can be found over at natekg.com. And now, please enjoy this awesome conversation with Sharina Isabel. Sharina, welcome to the show.
Hi there, Nate.
How's it going? How's life?
Amazing.
That's good. I'm glad to hear it. I'm glad to hear it.
How are you?
I'm also really good. This is going to be a fun episode, and I'm really pumped to talk with you because I followed you for a while. We've chatted before, and it'll be cool to get a conversation down on record and really dig into your jumping.
Exactly. Like, it's the first time I've actually spoken to you properly.
Yeah, right. It's cool when we chat over Instagram, and then the podcasts are fun because now we can actually have a real life conversation.
Real life conversation, yeah. Definitely.
Yeah, exactly. So I think a good place to begin would be to discuss where you are in the world and where you grew up.
Yeah, so I'm actually in London, UK, and I was born and raised here. My background is from Philippines, so that's me.
Nice, cool. And then in terms of jump rope, when did you first pick up a jump rope and why?
So actually, the first time was around 2018, and I wanted to, because I used to do a lot of cardio when I was in the gym. Running on a treadmill as well. But I found that really boring. So I came across JRD jump rope dudes on Instagram, and I was like, let me pick up a rope and just try it out. Because I found running really boring.
Why did you first start running?
So I actually started running in 2014, like during uni times. When I was studying, and then I stopped doing that. Then when I got back into my fitness journey, I started running again because that's all I knew as cardio.
So it was really like that was kind of your main tool that you used just to move around and to stay fit and to be active and stuff.
Yeah, and then I started doing strength training as well.
Gotcha. Oh, okay.
But then I used to do 40 minutes of running, and then the rest, like another half an hour of strength training.
Wow, that's a lot. That 40 minutes, was that 40 minutes of running like straight all the way through?
There's breaks. Like I would run for like every 10 minutes or 5 minutes, I'll run straight, and then I'll take a little 2-minute break or something like that.
Oh, that's cool. So it was like intervals. So was that like that's a lot. So would you like jog and do laps and then come rest? Is that how that worked?
Yeah.
And then you would go hit strength training after that.
I would run, and then after that I go training. Yeah. So nice. You can tell like how fatigued I was. So I only started doing jump roping for 10 minutes, and that helped me a lot. So like as a warm up, so that helped me a lot to pump my blood for lifting weight.
Okay, so when you got into it, you swapped out the running, and instead of doing running, you ended up going into just having jump rope before your weight training.
Yeah.
Cool. That makes a lot of sense. So that's interesting. So you just kind of jumped into it just to get just to be moving around. So was the motivation just simply, you were saying you were at university, was it just to kind of get out? Was there a certain like fitness goal? Was there something about it that kind of drew you to it?
So when I started my fitness journey, which is actually 2017, I wanted to lose weight a lot because I felt I had no confidence. So by doing that, I'm helping myself and focusing on myself. And when I transitioned from running to jump rope, all I wanted to do was get my heart rate up, get my blood pumping for me to prepare to do strength training. Then I started seeing Rush Athletics on Instagram after I saw JRD. I was looking at the ropes that I had, so I actually just had the those wide speed ropes.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Really, that really hurt.
Yeah, I'm sure it did.
No, that was my first actual jump rope. So when I saw Rush Athletics, obviously I was so excited because he's from here
Mm-hmm.
in London,
Mm-hmm.
and from there I started watching his YouTube videos, followed him on Instagram, and I was so inspired by the way he trains and jumps.
Gotcha. That makes sense.
So I started developing his kind of style.
Mm-hmm.
And then I bought his ropes, and I realized, oh wow, like these ropes are so much better than I was using before.
Yeah, because those licorice ropes are actually suited for the doing different freestyle swings, crosses, different kind of skills like that. Whereas that wire rope was not helping you at all.
No. So it made me like stay in one place, whereas the licorice rope did help me a lot.
Yeah, it opened things up. So that's really cool. So if we kind of go back to when you decided to get into more fitness, you were saying that there wasn't a lot of confidence there, and you wanted to lose weight. What was there like a specific moment where you decided, okay, I want to do something. I now want to get into exercise more. Was there like a certain moment that you thought that, or was it gradual?
Actually, me and my ex broke up.
Oh yeah, okay. That'll do it.
That's it.
That's it. Oh my gosh, that's funny. But seriously though, like that's actually a legitimate okay, so when I was in college, when I was in university, when I broke up with my ex, I was like, I need to go skydiving. So I understand
it's like a getaway, isn't it?
Yeah, no, it really is, and that's a good point. No, for sure. So that happened, and you were like, all right, like let's go, like let's make this person realize what they're missing out on. Is that what happened?
Basically.
Yeah, that's cool. And then, so what had you get into the strength training in the first place? You were talking about doing it with running beforehand, but what brought you to strength training? Because I think a lot of people, that element tends to come much later just because of the nature of what it is, but it sounds like you got started pretty quickly on strength training. What brought you into that?
I followed a lot of Instagram pages, especially up through Gymshark.
Mm-hmm.
And then I see a lot of women lifting, and that really motivated me as a woman myself.
Mm-hmm.
To lift. And I researched that you lose fat easily when you do strength training and build muscle, rather than you doing cardio where you just
mm-hmm.
you don't build muscle.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, you just build up an endurance.
Mm-hmm.
So what I wanted to do, obviously they say toning is actually you're just building on muscle mass.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Which I really wanted to try to shape my own body,
mm-hmm.
and my own figure. Yeah. So, but I did see a big difference in like 2 weeks when one of the personal trainer at my gym, he taught me do 12 reps and 3 sets of heavyweight. And then once I did that, after the 2 weeks, I measured myself, and I lost a lot of body fat and gained
mm-hmm.
muscle mass.
Mm-hmm.
So that's when I started getting motivated to keep on doing strength training.
What were some of those exercises that you were doing when you first started?
So I did deadlifts, did a lot of squats, and a lot of back workouts. So
just those few exercises really do make a massive difference. There's it seems so simple, but those those movements involve so many different muscles in your body. They involve, there's just a lot happening. So it makes a lot of sense that those were kind of your go-tos at the beginning. That's really awesome. So then kind of fast forwarding from then until now, are you still doing a lot of strength training with your jumping?
No, actually.
Interesting. Okay. So what changed?
Lockdown changed.
Gotcha. Okay.
So actually, when lockdown happened, I had no weights. I only have like maybe a dumbbell, but
hmm
that couldn't, like, I couldn't maintain my muscle mass.
hmm
So I lost a lot of muscle mass, and I hit a plateau again
hmm
during that time for like 2 weeks.
For 2 weeks?
Yeah, for 2 weeks.
2 weeks that's not too bad though for hitting a plateau. So then did you go right into doing more body weight and stuff after that?
No, nothing. I literally did nothing, and then I started getting motivated with your combos on
Oh, cool. I'm glad
Instagram.
that helps.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So that's when I started again jump roping. But
Gotcha.
no body weights, no strength training, nothing.
hmm And so you really the lockdown really forced the change in your workout structure. I think it forced a lot of changes for a lot of people not being able to go to the gym. Yeah.
Definitely, yeah. Kind of envy everyone who has weights in their home.
Yeah, right. No, it was very difficult to get some of those at first. At least in the US, yeah, it was tough to get like barbells, and like people were selling gym equipment, but it was extraordinarily expensive. I mean, it still is expensive, but like at the those first couple months, I mean, people were raising the prices like an insane amount. So that's interesting that you've now moved. Wow, so you've done a lot of different styles of workout.
Yeah, I have actually.
Yeah, and so let's kind of dig into the jump rope piece a bit too, because it sounds like you began very much just as like a conditioning piece, and you said you started with JRD, so it sounds like it was very straightforward sets and stuff, and then you find rush and you're getting into more of boxer style and doing different crosses, dubs, and swings, and a little bit of turning and stuff. So when do you make the transition to doing more in-depth freestyle skills, and why?
So when I saw a video that Rush uploaded on YouTube, he
hmm
featured Mira.
hmm
So when I saw her, I was like, "Whoa! Like, this is a new kind of jump roping?"
Yeah.
So then I started looking at her page, and I was heavily inspired.
hmm
And that's when I started. That's around 20, last year. Last year, yeah. This time last year.
Really? Oh, so it's only been about a year of you trying to do like these freestyle skills?
Yeah.
Wow.
Some
Okay.
yeah, some yeah. And then from there, I started following everyone who did freestyle skills on
hmm
Instagram. So I transitioned from like just rush athletic style to everyone who started doing freestyle
hmm
tricks. And then I met Bobby.
Nice. And then yeah, I know Bobby. He's cool. Yeah. He's been on the podcast before.
Yeah, yes. So Bobby actually lives near me, so he hit me up and to jump rope. And then from there, that's when I got really deep into it.
That's cool. It makes such a big difference to have someone there with you to jump with.
Definitely, like you can just see how it is in person. It's just totally different.
No, no, it definitely is. Have you, when you started jumping with Bobby, because I've seen a lot of your posts. I see you guys, at the gym, or in the past, I've seen you guys hanging out at the gym, and some more of those somewhat recently. Um, have you felt a big difference between jumping with Bobby and jumping with others at like meetups and stuff versus jumping solo?
Oh yeah, definitely. I think the greatest thing about having someone there is they can watch and give you tips
hmm
as well, and just encourage you when you feel like you can't do it. For example, I was trying to learn the TJ, and then he let me use his rope, his 3 millimeter, no, 4 millimeter licorice rope, and I just did it.
You just got it, just like that?
Yeah, yeah. He was like, use this, and I was like, okay. So I did the TJ, and I locked it once, not once, but twice, consecutively.
Wow, that's really good. And just like that, yeah, you've got this other person there pushing you a little bit, and like, yeah, I feel like it's so real that like sometimes something as simple as that, just someone handing you a different rope or being there motivating you, really does make such a big difference. It's just a different feeling that you get actually being around people. Do you feel like Instagram and like just social media in general, but I'm assuming mostly Instagram, helps with that in a similar way, in any way?
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah. Like I didn't expect everyone would be so open and nice.
Mm-hmm.
And give advice just for free. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you know, obviously there's a certain extent, but everyone's just so helpful.
Mm-hmm.
And there's so much more information now compared to, say, for example, 2 years ago. The people who are starting their jump rope journey now are so lucky to have useful information.
Yeah, it's definitely this year has been very interesting to see a lot of the changes that have happened for sure. And it sounds like you've been around and you've been paying attention to jump rope, long enough to see how things have been changing a lot. Have you? I suspect I know the answer to this, but have you ever felt very frustrated with any skills? And if you have, let me know which ones.
Oh yes, definitely.
Yeah.
It was the single arm push up.
Oh, okay. I like how a lot of times I expect that skill to be like the skill that frustrates people. A lot of times is it's a skill that is like a very foundational skill that comes at the beginning of jump rope, and you're just like, yeah, it was a single handed push up.
Oh no, because Mira, I went live on Mira's page
Hmm.
on her Instagram, and then she was trying to teach me the single handed push up,
Hmm.
but I couldn't get it the first time.
Hmm.
So after that, I said, let me make it a goal to unlock it.
Hmm.
So I think it took me about 5 days.
5 days, that's it? That is like
What do you mean? That's it?
that's so fast. Oh my gosh. There's been like
I think that because I had my mind set to the goal. I had this goal to just unlock it. I didn't focus on anything else, just that.
Mhm. So do you usually unlock skills very quickly then? Because like I've watched you jump and you're a very strong jumper. The skills you do, like you really throw down some high level strength skills, and you really do you have I mean you're really, in terms of, if we're discussing jump rope form, you have very, very strong form. Like, yeah, no, you absolutely do. And so do you typically just expect that skills come quickly?
For me, yeah, definitely. But
Hmm.
then I obviously focus on like the right form, or try to focus on the right form.
Hmm.
Like I I like to pay attention to detail and what could potentially like unlock it quicker.
Hmm.
Well, I mean, it just depends on the trick that I want to learn.
This attention to detail and this attention to not only wanting to accomplish your goal, but to accomplish your goal well. Does this show up anywhere else? Do you have this did you have this same mindset with strength training and running, or did you have this mindset in university at all?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. In university, because I get really frustrated if it's just my work's messy. So I did
Mm.
architecture. My background is just very creative. Like I do also graphic design, illustration as well. So I like things to be so perfect.
Let's dig into this architecture piece a little bit, because it's not something that I'm super familiar with, but also from what I do, from the small amount that I do understand, or think I understand, it sounds like there is, like you're saying, there's a very big creative piece because of the nature of what it is. But I feel like there's also a very systematic or math oriented piece as well. Do you like both sides? Is one side better than the other? Like, how do you view that interaction between the systemized numbers, logic based versus the creative aspect?
So for me, I'm not a fan of numbers.
Okay.
I really hate it. But I actually did the creative part, so the arts of architecture, not like the scientific part of architecture. But I do, for example, if I get something wrong on my measurements, so it really gets to me. It really gets me frustrated because I have to go back again to fix everything just because of one problem. So that's what.
No, that makes a lot of sense. So would you consider yourself to be kind of a perfectionist?
Yes.
So this is really cool because it makes a lot of sense then why you would really vibe with jump rope, because I feel like there's a lot of, do you find that there's a lot of similarities between uh, the work that you do with architecture and jumping and exploring different skills?
Oh yeah, definitely. Like even talking about just jump rope and the tricks, like knowing the right words, knowing the right terms, and just like placements, like arm placements, hand placements, and where to put them to unlock it, to unlock the trick. It does, for example, in architecture, you, you you need the foundation. That's the same thing as jump rope. You need to have your foundation to be able to just unlock it, do the project, or finish off the project. You know.
Yeah, absolutely. That makes a lot of sense. This is kind of bringing it together. I really dig this. So it makes a lot of sense why you would move in the direction of all these different more intricate jump rope skills, because you already have this natural predisposition towards order and complexity. But it sounds like, and correct me if I'm wrong, it sounds like you really enjoy finding more complicated just a more complicated system or a complicated goal, and then doing it really well. It sounds like that's kind of a thing that you dig. Is that true?
Definitely.
Nice. That's cool. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense why jump rope fits.
I think I really love the intricacy of just the different skills that everyone has as well. Like I'm just blown away. Like I'm just so overwhelmed with everyone's like intricate skills or intricate tricks or sequence, and I'm just like, whoa! Like, let me try it out.
Yeah. Is there anyone that is there any like skill or combo that kind of like comes to mind that you can think of that relates to that? If not, we can move past this. I know we're just randomly searching.
Avery's manipulation. That's just the main.
Yeah, Avery is amazing with everything that he does. It's wild.
I know. Yeah, I know. It's crazy.
What?
That's my ultimate goal.
Yeah, no, I mean it's a great goal to have, for real. Do you when you get into the gym, let's look at currently when you spend time jumping, because I know a lot of things have shifted this year with lockdown and everything, but currently when you're going into the gym, when you're doing these training sessions, how do you approach the way you go about training? How do you approach, are you doing specific sets and reps for workout? Are you going in and just kind of flowing? Are you picking a skill? Like what is your mindset going into the gym?
So it really depends. At the moment, I just go in and just focus on the skills that I've already learned. So I go in, I do a bit of just single unders, and then I move on to double unders. And then I start doing like toes to get my legs up. And then I start doing a bit of stretching, dynamic stretching. And then from there, I start doing my triples, refining my triples. And then after that, if I wanted to work on my whole body, I'll do my power tricks. So I realized actually it's just not cardio. is actually a full body workout. I really see that I haven't lost a lot of muscle mass, which I'm really surprised. Like, I'm so surprised I haven't lost a lot of muscle mass because I thought jump rope was just cardio. That's it. Was actually also body weight strength training. So plyometric training as well.
Yeah, there's so many different ways to activate that. That makes sense. And so you get in there, you warm up, you stretch around a little bit. Are you then just going after whatever skills on your brain at that moment? You're just kind of like, yeah, like whatever I've been watching or whatever I've been thinking about, I'm just going to try that. Is that how you kind of proceed?
Yeah, at the moment, yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. Just kind of free flowing. Well, that's really cool. So you said originally when we started here that you said you're from the Philippines?
Background, my parents are, yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. Did you didn't grow up there though?
No, I haven't. I would love to stay there for like a few years.
Yeah. Just to go visit?
Just to go visit, just to see, just to live the life there, even though I know it's, yes, third world country, but I find my heart there too.
In what way?
There's just a lot of love and happiness as well in the Philippines that I really love about.
I feel like that really comes through with the jumpers that we see from the Philippines. I feel like all of the jumpers that I've seen so far, like the vibe of the jump rope community in the Philippines is like so good. It's really good.
Very uplifting.
Yeah, and it is really I mean, a lot of things about jump rope have surprised me over the years in terms of seeing all the different people that, have been into it, but it's also really surprising with the Philippines how many jumpers they have there and like how awesome it is.
Yeah, in a short amount of time. Like, it's crazy. I remember when it only boomed from like what, lockdowns of April, May. That's when everyone started. And I was very excited because I was so excited for them to see what I love. My audience now on Instagram is mostly from the Philippines, which is crazy. Like, I wouldn't never thought of that. Everyone is so nice.
Yeah, it's been really cool to see how much the community has really just taken off this year. And it was already growing a lot, but now it's like really moving, you know? So do you feel like, because you've been jumping for a good amount of time now, especially having worked through these different styles of jumping and stuff, has there been anything that you've kind of seen shift over your time of jumping? I mean, I know we're talking about, this big boom in jump rope this year. Is there anything else that you've noticed, or is there anything you want to add about that big boom in jump rope?
Just the jump rope community in the Philippines, I see like everyone's pushing to do like double unders a lot. But then I see that in the guys. And then the girls, they love to do the freestyle tricks.
Interesting. So you're seeing like a difference in trend.
Yeah, definitely.
That's cool. Do you have any other hobbies that get you pumped up? I know we've talked about architecture and graphic design. Is there anything in addition to that, or if you want to go in deeper on the graphic design, I'd be down to talk about that too.
We can do the graphic design.
Yeah, let's do it. So yeah, so what was it that originally got you, like, did you get into graphic design because of the architecture work, or was it separate, or why did you get into that?
So back when I was about 15, so I started getting into graphic design. I started looking, I think it was just online. I just looked at I look at just photos and just edited photos, Photoshop photos, and how I just got really so into it. Like, how did they make it? How did the person edit a photo like this? So, for example, I don't know, just maybe a change of background of a portrait. I really wanted to understand what goes into it. So I started doing a lot of just my own projects, working on tutorials, and then from there I did actual graphic design in college and product design. So a lot of hands-on work. I started becoming a creative person. And then from there, when I did architecture, it helped me a lot on my portfolio, so much, which I'm so glad. And then it's just refining the skills, refining the graphic skills that I had, and then just like venturing out.
Yeah, you were talking about doing product design, but what is it? The projects you were working on, like what applications were you using to do your work? Like what was the what types of projects were you completing?
So I use Adobe Photoshop,
Hmm.
Illustrator, and InDesign. So
Hmm.
InDesign is more of the like booklet type or layout type. And then Illustrator and Photoshop, they intertwine together in editing. So I worked on a lot of like invitations, so birthday invitations, and then logo designs for other people, for my friends. And I just did that for free. And
Yeah.
then and then of course I just did like portrait projects because I was so interested in getting just developing skills
Hmm.
for myself, for my own self.
Yeah. So have you ever looked into, or have you ever tried doing like photography as well? It sounds like that would go hand in hand with kind of what you're working on.
Yeah, I have actually.
What type?
I think it's when you have the shutter speed really long, and then
Long
the
exposures.
cars, your long exposure, yeah. So and then the cars like move, and you get that photo. I really love
Yes.
that. Or
That's
like,
cool.
yeah, and just macro.
Uh-huh. Yeah, macro photography. That's awesome. Wow. So you really have explored a lot of different like creative endeavors.
Yes, I have.
That's really neat. That really puts like a nice full picture about, because we obviously I've watched you from afar, but again, this is our first time we're ever really chatting, and it's cool to get a feel and to understand more that you really do have this track history with different, creative endeavors and different things that really do tie together. As someone who does photography and has used Photoshop, Illustrator, and InDesign, like I totally feel you on that, because they all do really, I mean, different purposes, but they all really do blend together well.
Yeah, definitely. It's
That's
such a
cool.
great tool.
Yeah, and it makes sense. Yeah, it just really makes sense why you would then move in the direction of jump rope, because there's like there's always something to work on, you know?
Yeah. So like I didn't even mention that when I was younger, I used to do a lot of sports. So I used
Gotcha. Okay.
yeah, so as when I was like what 5, starting from 5 years old, I did ballet, then I quit. Then I started playing soccer, football, tennis, basketball, swimming.
Wow, so you really have done an extremely wide variety of different skills in sports. Wow, okay. That makes a lot more sense why your jumping is so strong, because it's not like you, I mean, especially beginning with ballet. I mean, even though you stopped doing it, like, man, you really have set the foundation for a lot of a lot of strength in yourself as an athlete.
Yeah.
That makes, and so when you went into, so that's interesting. So then you do that. So what were kind of the ages? You said when you were very young, and you kind of did that throughout.
Yeah, so around for during my high school days, I did basketball, tennis, football, and netball. Um, but before that, like primary school, so just under 10, I did swimming and yeah, swimming and tennis as well.
That makes sense. And so when you went to university, then did you kind of, uh, because university is a very big, it can be a very big adjustment period. Is that when you kind of stopped doing standard sports, and just because things changed, then you tried to start something up again?
Yes, exactly that. The only thing I had time for was running.
And then you kind of moved in the direction of doing more like graphic design and that kind of stuff. Now it's starting to come together. That makes sense. You're just exploring. So you really have always just been exploring different sports, different things, creativity. This is very central to who you are.
Yes, so I like to explore what I want, um, and just to see how it like what the sport is or what is this like? What is I ventured out into like, like reading about advertising because it does intertwine with, graphic design
Mm-hmm.
as well. And yeah, I just read a lot. I'm very broad with.
You've got a lot of curiosity, which is amazing. Did you in learning these different sports, in going to the gym to lose weight and to build confidence, at any point did you feel intimidated or nervous or any kind of hesitation towards trying to learn a new skill?
Definitely when I started going to the gym,
Mm-hmm.
I think because I was all alone, I didn't know where to start, who to go to. All I had was just the information on Instagram. But from there, like even being in the weight area, I was so intimidated because it was just mostly guys. Then I just built I don't know what happened, but I just built the confidence. Just, you know what? Let me just go and do what I need to do, and this is for myself.
That determination to focus on yourself.
Yes, exactly. And then just the people around me, they started helping me. They're actually friendly. And I was like, actually, this is not that bad. And that's when the confidence started coming to me, developing.
I feel like that's such an important point to underscore, is that the majority of people in a gym or just in any kind of sport just want to see you do well. Like they enjoy helping and being able to see you do well because they could give you a tip on something or just help out a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I've also feel like giving to everyone else in jump rope as well.
Mm-hmm.
Because it
Did
just makes me happy. It makes me happy.
no that makes a lot of sense. And did you ever feel like going into strength training or going into the gym, did you ever feel like that type of activity would give you a physique that you didn't want? Like, did you feel like you were going to go in there and then the strength training or something would not give you what you wanted? Did you have to like learn, or how did that go? Because I know a lot of folks kind of go in and assume that touching a weight might make them, bulk up and get super big or something.
Yeah, so I'm completely opposite. I always wanted to do weights. It's just I didn't know how to come about it or use it properly. But I just wanted to. I knew that actually lifting weights doesn't really make you bulky. It's just it's just your diet as well.
That makes sense. That makes sense. And so you didn't really have much of a hesitation there. That makes sense.
No, it's just being intimidated doing using the weights
Mm-hmm.
in the beginning.
When you talk about building confidence, if you're down to chat about this, in what way did you notice that there wasn't confidence, and what was it that made you feel that you needed to work on it and to build up that confidence?
I think it's just I wasn't really open or the showy type, even in like my personal life. I'm not
Mm-hmm.
confident generally. I've always been closed off to myself. And then when I started going to the gym and started seeing that I'm doing better for myself and I can kind of show myself off that this is my work. I worked so hard for this and I'm so proud of myself. I've got to my goal at the time. And then from there it just developed, like with the people around me, they also helped my confidence. So also pushing me to be better. And then when jump rope happened, that's when it really boomed. Like my confidence really blew up. Like when the first time I went on live with Mira, that's when everything just I really noticed the difference in myself as a person,
That,
even until now.
that makes a lot of sense because historically I felt somewhat very similar to what you've articulated, which is, even though I had jump roped and competed through middle school and high school, and in high school I competed at a pretty high level nationally. Moving into college, I noticed for a period of years uh, uh, what I would interpret as very low confidence. I'm sure, I don't think other people necessarily might have recognized it, but obviously I live with me, so like I recognize it, you know. Um, and I think that you brought up something really, really important, and it's something that I kind of tapped into as well, which is when you do things, when you take action and you succeed, whether that's a big success or a medium or even a small success, the more you stack those wins and the more you mentally shape the things that you do in a way that you can perceive it as a success, the better you will feel about yourself. And now looking back at that time, what you said, I think really resonates with me and it makes a lot of sense. It's like, oh yeah, like the same way we show up and we learn to do skills and we do them again and again and again and again, and we feel really good about them because they get better. That same principle, I think this probably applies a lot more to folks who are listening who are a little bit younger, but like you can apply that exact same method of training effectively to non-athletic pursuits. Like, and I'm sure you felt this with graphic design even, right? Like you get in there, you're working on, those birthday invites, or you're working on like, that Photoshop work, changing out the background, you do them again and again and again. And then it's like, oh, I'm starting to really understand what I'm doing here.
Yeah, definitely that.
And I think that's such a great point of like that confidence. I mean, confidence is not a born trait. Confidence, it's not, and it's an earned trait. Is that kind of how you see it now? And
Yeah, definitely. I mean, even at work, I've always been closed off. I've never been the type to even talk about my opinions as well. And I have my manager. She pushed me. She really pushed me out of my comfort zone, and that's what built my confidence too. In my own personal life as a person, being able to speak out. I've never done that in my life. Like I always get anxious when I have to speak out.
Mm-hmm.
But now I realize it's fine.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay.
Mm-hmm. Because you've done it.
Because I've done it. I've been out of my comfort zone, and she pushed me to it.
When you say not speaking up or not speaking out, what is it? What is kind of an example of that, just so I can understand even better? Like, are you talking about?
For example, if I don't like what she's doing, if I'm affected by something that she's done, I don't speak out.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, and so now you feel like you can.
Yeah.
See, this is kind of something that I've really, with jump rope for me, it's in the past, it's always been like, oh, it's just really fun. It's a cool sport. This is great. I love this,
Mm-hmm.
And the more I jump with people outside of the competition, I mean, in the competition world as well, but the more I spend time outside of the competition world and am listening and hearing and experiencing all of the different ways jump rope can be used, the more I start to understand that I think the true value of the sport, both in a sport aspect and a competitive aspect and a recreational aspect, is that it really is a massive self-esteem booster. There's something about, and I want to hear your thoughts on this. To me, it seems like there's something about jump rope that it really, when you unlock skills, it's like an immediate confidence booster. It's like an immediate gratification because there's always something to work towards in the future, but you've always got something to be proud of right now.
Yes, definitely. I think I can so relate to that because it's the gratification. It also comes from the people around you when they really see your progression. It feels like, and it's just an amazing feeling that they actually watch and see your progression, and it's just so, I don't know how to explain.
Well, it's this sweet spot of like you've earned it. Like, you've put in the work and it's awesome. And it's not that you need someone else to tell you good job to feel it, but when it's both, when you've put in the work, when you've worked hard and you can see the results for yourself, and a third party other person also says like, yeah, you're right, you have worked that hard. It's this nice again sweet spot of really building up pride in yourself.
Yeah, exactly. But then obviously when I unlock tricks, it's actually just for myself. I don't do it for other people.
Hmm.
And that's the main, I think that's the main thing as well, definitely on social media when you it's more about it's like a showing off your skills. Then again, everyone needs to think about themselves. That is actually you're doing it for yourself as
Hmm.
well.
Where do you feel? I'm curious. Two different ways of viewing this, but where do you see the balance of sharing and being in the community versus showing off? And I'm curious how you feel about that, how you perceive that for yourself, and I'm curious how you see that in the community as well as someone who's actively engaging with folks. I'm curious how you view that balance for yourself and how you see it playing out on Instagram.
Okay. So in the beginning, I just wanted to show off what I can do, what
Hmm.
I what I've unlocked. I just wanted to show off to everyone. Like I used even to now, I must admit, like I tag just randomly anyone, to be honest. But for now, when I post, it's more there's more of this is what I can do now. So for the future I can look back on it, on
Hmm.
what I did before. And it's just a more of a comparison.
It's like a public training log, basically.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. But also when I tag people now, I tag the relevant people that I want them to see.
Right. You're not just it's so it sounds like what you're saying is and correct me if I'm wrong, it sounds like at the beginning you were kind of just tagging like anyone because you wanted people to see you.
Yeah,
But
yeah, exactly.
yeah. Yeah, no, that makes sense. And then now you've kind of switched your lens to something that sounds a little bit more authentic and true to who you are and true to the community, which is, if you're talking with someone about the skill, or if you're actively engaging with them, then you tag them because it's like, hey, look, check it out. Like here it is.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
So it sounds like, yes, it sounds like you've really, you definitely have an extraordinarily high level of self awareness, and you're really on it and making a lot of moves, for sure. It's really cool to hear that you've learned and gained so much, from jump rope, but it also sounds like there's a lot of internal drive. You know, you're talking about not feeling confident and then putting yourself in an environment like the gym and not really knowing what to do there, but then still just, I'm gonna make this work. I'm gonna figure out how to do this. Where that element, I feel like, is probably the piece that trips up a lot of people, right? There's this new environment. I don't know how this works. I don't really, you know what I mean? Where, and maybe there's not an answer to this, but where do you feel that drive comes from? Because that's a lot of willpower and mental reserve to execute on that.
I think it's just challenging myself that,
Hmm.
if they can do it, why can't I?
Hmm.
I think that's what drives me.
Hmm.
If like I can do it too. I'm able to do this. That's my
Hmm.
motivation. And even like learning a skill, I would I would watch a video, I would screen record it, make it slow mo, and just watch the intricate move
Hmm.
and how and the like I said, it's going back to like architecture and my background and being perfectionist. You know how does one do a move like that or do an intricate trick?
That makes a lot of sense. But do looking back at, let's look at, you when you first began university. If that version of you could see who you are right now, what do you think they would say? How do you think they would react?
Well, I didn't know you were. I really didn't think that I would go into jump rope. That's it. I wouldn't expect because obviously in the UK we just do jump rope in like our breaks, our school breaks,
Hmm.
and back in like high school. You
Hmm.
know, like I would have never thought that me as an adult I would be jumping rope. In terms of for me in university, looking at myself now, didn't really expect that I would realize that I'm using the skills that I've learned into jump rope and just life in general. Yeah, it's made me realize now, looking back at my whole life, that this is actually me. Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
I mean, that's crazy. I only like, this podcast makes me realize a lot of things.
Well, that's pretty sick. I'm glad that we got to like go down this rabbit hole and explore this together. It's really cool to, I mean, you seriously sound like such an incredible go-getter and someone who's really doing it, which is really awesome. Yeah. I mean, you've, again, like after everything we've gone through, like you've earned it. Like it's neat to hear this constant thread of curiosity every step of the way, from when you were little and doing ballet, and then you're like, nope, not doing this, moving on to something else, and then like the next sport, and then graphic design and architecture and jump rope. Like it's really cool to dig into all this. I mean, and like that, we've been talking for an hour now. That has just like zoomed by so fast.
I know, right?
Yeah,
I realize.
It really has. I think now would probably be a good time to hit that last main question of the podcast, which I think you are familiar with. And that is, what is jump rope to you?
Jump rope to me, it's me. I mean, now realizing with this podcast that everything that I've learned in life, everything that I've developed, it all comes down to jump rope too.
Mm-hmm.
Like it gives me happiness. The people around me, I feel like now it's just a part of me. It's such a big part of my life that I don't think I would ever let go of.
Yeah, it's now basically inseparable from who you are.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah, no, I absolutely feel that. And what's so cool is, I think a lot of competitive jump ropers really understand that, because they've started so young and they've been in it, and it's great to hear. I mean, your story, and many other people have felt similarly to you, which is they've picked it up later, but it's still just as powerful.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's the word, powerful.
Yeah. No, and you're a great demo. I mean, it works really well for you because you're also a very powerful jumper. So
Thank you.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, you've earned it. It's cool. This has been so much fun. Oh my gosh, I'm so glad that we got to like sit down and do this.
Definitely. I mean, I really enjoyed it, Nate.
I'll definitely let you get back to your day here. But yeah, this has been so good. And seriously, thank you for taking the time to chat with me and to share all of this about your journey with jump rope and with confidence and everything. This has been seriously really fun.
Thank you, Nate, for having me.
Hey, before you go, I just wanted to say one last thing. One of my main goals for this podcast is to share the stories, of other jumpers and provide a full picture about everything that's possible with the jump rope. The more people that hear this, the better. And it would really help me out if you sent this podcast to somebody you know, whether in real life or digitally on Instagram, Facebook, whatever platform you use. It would mean the world to me. So that's it. I hope you have a great rest of your day, night, lunch, evening, whatever time it is for you right now. See you later.